name's Rob Uslan. I don't know. I am. I kind of just. I guess the quickest answer is that you know, the longer I've lived my life, the more that I've found creation to be a compulsion, and it's sort of like it's my way of digesting reality. Once you see what a human can be on any level, you can't ignore it. It's now a part of reality. You have to adapt. You have to immediately adopt that into your model of what an adult human is supposed to be like. And I guess me making art, and particularly right now music, is my way of digesting and expressing that in a way that I mean, not necessarily so that you can understand it. It's mostly for me. I've had people come up to me and be like, "Hey, that particular, like, of all your songs, like, you wrote that one while you were in love, weren't you?" And it's like how it wasn't deliberate. It just kind of yeah, you're right. You're right. You know, it's like, so you never know how. I guess totally slightly tangent, but one thing that's always been particularly interesting for me as an artist is realizing the disparity between how I experience my work and how an audience or a fan or someone or anyone who just listens to it would experience my work. For someone to be able to pick that up and read into, to actually see potential experiences that I might have had to go through to create that, means that there's some sort of information DNA, you know, as esoteric as that sounds, getting transmitted through pieces of artwork and putting that in front of people. And I don't make a point of trying to explain my work. You know, like, you go to art galleries and you'll see a painting and you'll see next to it a plaque that might even be bigger than the fucking painting with text explaining what the painting's all about. I don't do that. I don't, it's not my job to, if I could express what I'm trying to express in words, I'd be a writer. I like this question. I can make a clone army. Who would they be? Oh man, to save the world?
Oh yeah.
It would be an army full of, it would probably be almost, probably the foremost requirement for that would be that they would have to be in, like, the top 1% of the most sarcastic individuals on the planet, because I really do believe that there's something almost like cosmically and universally important to sarcasm and the ability to completely understand, like, the dire and seriousness of a situation, but being able to completely reject the cosmic significance of it, which ultimately there usually is none. So the ability to not take things, to be able to understand what's important but not take everything so seriously. It's sort of like Oscar Wilde, one of my favorite authors, once said, "Life is too important to be taken so seriously." And I definitely apply that to everything that I do. It's sort of like, life is everything is incredibly important, to the point where it's too important to take so seriously that you have to constantly remove yourself from the experience and look at it and be able to laugh at it in a way that you know, unfortunately people might not necessarily understand, but that's why they're not in my army.
Right.
Technology is definitely going to change the way we value things. I mean, we already have fucking 3D printing, and that's just beginning, but that's probably gonna be the biggest game changer of all. I mean, you know, like, think about how much money a year is spent by the world on doorknobs.
Okay.
Think about like that alone. Like, I need a doorknob, download it. Print me a new freaking doorknob. Like, I need a new car fender, I get myself a car fender. Like, you could go deeper and deeper into that and think about, oh well, we could, you know, people could be downloading and printing weapons, and now, like, militias could be started. I'm not gonna go into that because it's like you could write a whole novel, a fiction novel about what that could potentially be. But people seem to think that technology is a problem because it puts humans out of work. It's like that's like the biggest thing that it really kind of has done over the past 100 years is replace humans for jobs. And that's what we mostly want it to do anyways. And people think that's a problem. I think it's the exact opposite of a problem, because if your job can be done by a machine, then you should be doing something else. When I say that, that sounds condescending. At a certain point, it will not only render a person's, like if your job was to build doorknobs for a living, machines will not only render that obsolete, it'll make you realize that that was never important to begin with, and that it'll convince people that they should probably be dedicating their lives to something that's of more significance, not just because they're literally just another piece. They're literally the machine. They're just building it. But it's like being a human can be so much more than that, and machines are only going to help us realize that more. Like the kinds of responses that I'm getting from putting my music out there, and it's like you put it out on the internet. It's not just like standing on the street being like, oh, my neighborhood might find out about me. It's like all over the world. You never know who the hell is going to find this stuff. And the types of like personal messages and emails that I've received from people, certain ones have been like really have like kind of made me like step back and realize that like what kind of effect you can have on a single person. And it's really not, for me, it's not about quantity. Quantity is nice only if that quantity equates in dollars. If the quantity doesn't equate in dollars, I don't care about a quantity, because the quality that I have received from particular individuals that I don't know, that live in all corners of the world, have really made me realize that what I do is potentially important. And not like important for the world. Like I can't think of the sorts of, because I'm just one person. It's not about that. I'm not like, what I do is not important for the world. It's not. I make music, but I have seen that what I've done has touched certain people's lives in a way that I couldn't have ever fucking fathomed. You're not just standing on a box shouting at your neighborhood anymore. You actually get to put it out there, and you never know. And so it has made me realize that what I do is fulfilling some sort of purpose, whether it's mine or I don't know. I don't care.
Right.
I get up every day. I get to cook myself breakfast, and no one's holding a gun to my head. So I guess America is still all right. We're still pretty. If you don't watch the news, shit's pretty great. Like I walk out of my house every day. I'm not afraid of anything. I've already dealt with a year ago in Boston having to walk out of my house, having a tank pull up to my driveway and telling me I need to get inside and not leave my house for 2 days. Like, and it's like, all right, like I'm more afraid than of the fact that you're in a tank driving up to my house than whatever you're trying to protect me from. That's funny, because I think about so many times what I would do if I could visit myself in the past and what I would say, but I never considered what I would deal with if I had to meet myself in the future. It comes back to, I guess, like Shakespeare said, the truest things are said in jest. So I would tell my future self that I sincerely hope you didn't stop finding everything funny.